Well, in today's Midday Fix, advice on how to disrupt the process of getting older. Michael Greger is the author of How Not to Age, the scientific approach to getting healthier as you get older. Hello to you. Welcome. Thank you for coming in.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
This is so interesting, but it is a thick book. I couldn't get through the whole thing, not in one sitting. So I do want to talk to you about the title, though, because it's the idea of getting healthier as you get older. And I think a lot of people would say, what? How does that even make sense?
Yeah, it's not just about adding years to your life, but life to your years. Sure. Unfortunately, life expectancy peaked in 2014. The United States has dropped every year since. That was before COVID, kneecapped another few years off our lifespan. So I think people are really desperate, really hungry to find this kind of information on reducing one's risk of chronic disease, extending one's lifespan, as well as extending one's health span, the amount of time you have free from disability.
How difficult is it to do that, right? Because most Americans, they have jobs, they have families, they have so many things going on, and it's sometimes difficult to change your entire lifestyle. So what are some easy things that people can do?
Well, the good news is we really have tremendous power over our health, destiny, and longevity, and that the vast majority of premature death and disability is preventable with a healthy enough diet and lifestyle. And it's never too late. Never too late to start eating healthier, to stop smoking, to start moving. We really do have the power, and it's these basic, simple, common sense lifestyle behaviors that really, even I know it's a big book, but really that's the foundation in terms of getting most of the way there in terms of reducing morbidity and mortality.
Okay, you always hear people say, oh, you've got good genes, or it's all in your genes. It doesn't matter what you eat or what you do or if you exercise. If your parents had a long life, you probably will too.
Well, based on studies of identical twins, only about 25% of the difference in lifespan between individuals is due to genetics. So for what we can do over the majority of which we may have some control, we can look at the blue zones, these areas of exceptional longevity around the world where they all center their diets around whole plant foods. So they're reducing processed foods, meat, dairy, sugar, egg, salt, maximizing fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, beans, split peas, chickpeas, and lentils, nuts and seeds, mushrooms, herbs, and spices, basically real food that grows out of the ground. These are our healthiest choices.
Okay, so eat healthy, the Mediterranean diet, basically lots of veggies and fruits. How about for supplements? You know, you see a lot of things advertised where it's like take turmeric, take something else to feel better and sleep well. So what advice would you give to people on supplements?
Yeah, turmeric. So I don't think of turmeric as a supplement. It's just a spice. It's actually what makes curry powder yellow. And I actually recommend a quarter teaspoon of turmeric a day. That's part of my Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen, available free app, iPhone, Android. Just encouraging people to eat the healthiest of healthy foods, try to include them into their daily routine. So dark green leafy vegetables, the healthiest vegetables, berries, the healthiest fruits every day, and then a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, the quarter teaspoon turmeric, how much exercise to get. Again, just try to inspire people to include some of these healthier foods in hopes of kind of crowding out some of the less healthy choices.
Okay, that's hard to do though sometimes. You talk about sleep and the importance of sleep, which sometimes, especially, I told you earlier that I have a friend who says you spend the first 40 years trying to kill yourself, the last 40 trying to stay alive, right? And I think sometimes people do away with sleep, but you say it is key, it's so important.
Important for immunity, certainly, but I was surprised to find out that the link to longevity is actually quite controversial in the medical literature. So getting adequate sleep may not enable you to live longer, but it will reduce your risk of these upper respiratory tract infections, and then we are certainly deep within that season now. And so you can randomize people to get less than 5 hours sleep, more than 7 hours sleep, then actually drip the cold virus, rhinovirus, into their nose. And so 100% of people are infected. They had the virus dripped in their nose, but those who had got less than 5 hours sleep, 3 times more likely to actually show symptoms, to actually come down with a cold. And whereas most of the people who got enough sleep didn't even get a sniffle because their immune system was so much better able to handle the virus invasion.
Okay, like I said, this is a very thick book. There's no way somebody can maybe get through it in a couple days. Are there key parts in it that you think, okay, read chapter 2, read 7, what are some things that they should look at?
It's really whatever people are interested in. So I talk about, preserving function, your bones, bowels, bladder, circulation, hair, skin, sex life, teeth, vision, etc., as well as what to do to slow the 11 aging pathways, looking at the longest and healthiest populations around the world. So it's written in such a way that you can jump around and read particular things you're interested in, whether it's more kind of the, the vanity, the skin, or whether you're interested in some of the, kind of deeper, more kind of nerdy biochemical pathways.
Okay, there's a lot to it. And people can follow you on any of these social media platforms. They just look at How Not to Age and you'll find them there. And there's more information, usmcmillan.com, nutritionfacts.org, if you want to check it out. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad to be here.